Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Scooter Charles Outdoors. Today, I'm going to give you the 5 best baits for creek fishing. Let me tell you, I grew up in southeast Kentucky. Creeks everywhere. Loved wading, fishing creeks. Then, moved to northern Kentucky. Guess what? Still creeks there to fish too. Now, live in northeast Kentucky. Plenty of creeks to fish here. Point of the story being, if you want to go catch fish, you can find a creek close to you to do it, and I'm going to tell you the best lures that are going to get you some fish. So, number 5 on the list is going to be the classic, will never let you down, that's the rooster tail. Inline spinner, anybody can use it. You're going to start to see a pattern here. I'm going to go natural color, and one of my favorite colors, a fire tiger color. I think in a creek or a small river, the fire tiger always has it could be small. There's tons of small bluegill, sunfish, so it's going to get you those. It's also going to look like a minnow. We'll quickly talk about how to fish each one of these. Just cast and retrieve. It's not hard. Find you a speed that you like. I think the best way to use rooster tail is you want to reel just enough to get your blade to spin. So as it goes through the water, blade's just gonna spin around and around. It's real flashy. And I've seen smallmouth come out of nowhere and just blindside it. And it's awesome. Treble hook on the end, you'll catch about everything that hits it. You can catch huge bass on this. You can catch rock bass, bluegill. I've caught a catfish on it before. Gar. If it's in a creek, this will catch it. Creek or river, rooster tail. You want to go catch fish. These are easily available. Rooster tails. Can't beat them. The number 4 on the list is original Rapala. Box open, same thing you're going to see again. I'll give you a better look at this one. An original Rapala steel cast and retrieve. But the great thing about this is this was a tough list to make because you can use about anything in a creek to catch fish. But I'm trying to give us something that'll work most of the water column. So here's your natural shad color, silver black back, classic Rapala. One of the best lures ever made. I think I caught my first bass on this one just like this. I'm sure it's in a tree and on the Tug River somewhere. So here they are. You can cast and retrieve. They float. They're balsa, so they're extremely buoyant. I love using this as a topwater also. I think smallmouth really key into almost any movement. And so you can twitch. It'll get down, a foot to maybe 2. So you can twitch it and then let it float back up and twitch it again. So it'll give you your topwater. Or you can just give it a steady, crank. You can, I would also give it a few cranks and then pause, and a few cranks and pause. Experiment around, find out what the bass want that day. But once again, Rapalas, these originals, readily available. You can find them almost anywhere. Another great bait. If you want to go catch fish in a creek, small river, right here you go. Catch any size fish. I've caught bass not much bigger than that before on this. So you can't go wrong with those. Now, number 3 on the list is our first soft plastic. And these were all tricky to put in any kind of order. So let me know in the comments if there's something in the list that didn't make it, or if you like this list and you think something should be ranked differently. Let us know. One of my favorite, I've been fishing for years, and that's a 4-inch lizard. Texas rigged 4-inch lizard in a creek is unbelievable. If you're having trouble with hang-ups with your rooster tails or your small crankbaits, the original Rapala we said, Texas rig one of this. We'll do a video on how to rig. Let us know if that's what you want. Here is now more natural colors with the soft plastics. So there is if you can tell, that's a green pump, or that's a watermelon red flake. When it's really clear water, I like a watermelon red for any color water. If you're on a budget and you want to go buy one color soft plastic, it's got to be green pumpkin. You go get you a green pumpkin black flake. There's a green pumpkin black flake Zoom Lizard. You can find this at your local Walmart. 4-inch. You get you a 2-aught. I like extra wide gap. 2-aught extra wide gap hook. Texas rig that with as light a weight as possible. A 1/16 ounce bullet weight is where I'm going to start if the current is not crazy, because with the belly being flat like this, it's going to glide down if you have it a light weight. You don't want it just shooting down. If you've got some current to deal with, you can go up to an 1/8, maybe even a 3/16 in a creek. But I like a super slow fall rate to on this Lizard, and just hop it along. Quick on how to do it. Cast it out. Let it hit the bottom on slack line. You want that slack line so it's not pendulum back to you. Let that go straight down, and it's got crazy action on it. Most times you'll get that hit on that first fall, and then you can drag it back just real slow, or hop it back. Give it a hop, let it hit back down again. Give it a hop, let it hit back down again. And then another color I want to show you, Bass Pro. If you like to order, Bass Pro Squirming Lizards are great. The 4-inch for creeks, they just have like the perfect profile. Once again, I've caught bass, caught bluegill on these, small, lots of rock bass. Went through a bag a trip before on just rock bass. And then, once again, look, we got green pumpkin popping back up, but that's got a June bug tail. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of June bug guys out there. And so if you want a little bit of June bug, you can get this Bass Pro with already a June bug tail for you. So if you got that little bit of stained water, they love the June bug. So back for that. Now here's where it got tricky, because if you do your research, this bait is #1 on a lot of people's list. Growing up, I went through plenty of these, and you just can't beat them. If you want a crankbait again, we're back on there, and it's a Rebel Crawdad. Here's a natural, just greenback, orange belly. They surprisingly doesn't get hung up a lot. It's gonna dig. It's gonna dig in the water, dig through those rocks, and it'll bounce off. It'll have a good hunting action. Now, not very deep at all, but great wobble even if there is no contact. I like to fish it with a fast retrieve and then stop and then fast retrieve, because if you notice crawdads in creeks or something, you lift up a rock, you start some crawdads, they shoot off and then stop. They'll shoot off and stop. So that's how you want to mimic here. So there's the wee size. Here is now a natural. This is a teeny wee. I really like this. If you're throwing a rod that can toss that, throw that out there, and you will have yourself a day. That is going to catch everything in the creek. Big, small, it don't matter. I do like to take the front treble and put a little bit bigger treble hook on the front. It's going to give you a little bit more weight, and if you hook that monster smallmouth and you just have one hook in it, odds are it's going to be that back one, and you'll have a much better land rate if you put a little bit bigger hook in there. Now these little hooks are super sticky, and if you get both pair in some, then you're going to be fine. Now once again, I love Fire Tiger. There's a deep diving Fire Tiger teeny wee. I love the red hooks on about everything, but the Fire Tiger here is awesome. And that teeny wee, it'll get you about 4 feet deep, and so you run that through rocks. Surprisingly snagless, not necessarily weedless, but it'll bounce through rocks extremely well. Now before we get to #1, I'm gonna give you a bonus bait. just got into this last year. You know, the traditional grub has always been around. I've caught a lot of fish on grubs. Grew up, I'd put the grub on the bottom of a beetle spin. Just an original single tail grub, cast and retrieve on a jig head, bottom of a beetle spin. You all know what I'm talking about. But throw a lot of rage tail stuff on the bass boat. And so I got this picked up some baby rage grubs. There's a baby rage grub just on a jig head. That was threw that towards the right before school started last year. I'm a teacher, and that was money. Just cast and retrieve that thing. It's got great, those little tails just flap. So it took me back in memory the single tail, except now, and these are extremely durable. If I would have fished this more, it probably makes the top 5. So might even do our first creek fishing video with the Rage Menace. But if you like rage tail stuff and extremely durable, this is a soft plastic that you can cast and retrieve. And it's real simple. That's all you need. 1/8 ounce jig head, 1/16 ounce jig head, rigged straight as possible like that. That is summer crawl. I like that green pumpkin again, but got a little bit of chartreuse in it. I find the smallmouth like that fire tiger color. They like bright things. They're a much more sight-oriented fish than the spot or the largemouth. Now, finally, the number one bait to go catch fish in a creek or small stream, that is a tube. Here's Zoom, Cabin Creek. If anybody out there knows the full story about Cabin Creek baits, I love Cabin Creek products. Used to be made in Kentucky. Now some company bought them out of Georgia, and I don't know if they're going to be the same, and they're getting extremely hard to find. And then my favorite for creeks is this Bass Pro teaser tube. So we're going to open up one of these. All of these, by the way, are my favorite green pumpkin color, green pumpkin blue flake. All of these tubes come coated in salt too, extremely salty. But that has a super dense body. This teaser tube, pretty thick. It resembles everything. It could be a crawdad. It could be some type of bluegill down there. You can fish them a ton of ways. You just get you a traditional tube head. You got salt everywhere now. Just get your traditional tube head. Push up in there, poke it through. You will get snagged some on tubes, but man, they produce. So green pumpkin blue, if you can see any blue on that, but that's a great color. You know, it's not as easy to find as just your traditional green pumpkin, black flake, but if you can find green pumpkin blue, not a lot of people throw it, I throw it. That's my go-to on any soft plastic. That might give you some blue as the sun, if we can get that shining up. But there's Cabin Creek, super soft Cabin Creek stuff. You're probably one fish a tube on this, but I mean, you're going to get bit and bit often with Cabin Creek tube. Any tube. One more. We'll go. Might as well show you, since it's the number one bait. Show you all 3 that I've laid out for you. Almost every company makes a tube. If you're a Strike King person, you can get that. Here's 3 right here. Power tubes if you're a power bait person. Now here's a great one. It's just a little big. That's a 3.75 Zoom. Quite heavy already. So they have great action on the fall. They're kind of going to spiral around. Pop, and then let it fall again. You can cast it out. You can drag it and just drag it back. It has real erratic motion as it comes around. So that's the number one bait. So any of these baits are going to go catch you fish in a creek or small river, even big river. I mean, you can use these in a lake and you're going to catch fish. But if you want to get into creek fishing, there's a creek somewhere close to you that you can go catch fish. And as always, there's always time for one more cast. Thank you guys for all the support. Like and subscribe if you hadn't. Click that noti bell. Thank you.